Okay, if good. Okay, if everybody will take a seat, we'll get this meeting underway. And we have some back row Baptists back there. Y'all are welcome to come up here and join us, but you're welcome to stay right where you are. Okay. I'm Paul Moore from the Chamber of Commerce, and this is Mary Spearman, who I'm going to try it. It's MCDCSCO. The two organizations are sponsoring this event this evening, and we're going to continue to try to do these on a regular basis. We'd like to thank the Heritage Baptist Church for hosting this for us. And after the session is finished, we have refreshments over in the fellowship hall. And we have the mayor here. Rob, thanks for coming. And other folks, we've got a lot of information to present. And all right, so.
As Paul said, my name is Mary Spearman. I'm with MCDCSCO, Marion County Diversified Civic and Social Concern Organization. Now, can I get y'all to say that? MCDCSCO. There you go. There you go. You got it. We just want to thank everyone for coming out. We have members of MCDCSCO and people from all over Jefferson. We just thank y'all so much. Mount Pilgrim Baptist Church, thank you so much for coming out, Miss Betty. And Lake of the Pines Baptist Church, and as Paul said, the mayor. And we just thank all of you for coming out tonight. And I know the chief has some very interesting information for us. Brother Seth is coming up. Come on down.
All right. Well, on behalf of Heritage Baptist Church, we do welcome you. We're glad you're here. And since I got a crowd of Jefferson people, before we introduce the chief and get going, I'm going to shamelessly promote. We've got September 3rd. You might see all this hunting. People keep saying, y'all really like hunting and things. Well, we do, but we do have an event coming up on the 3rd of September at 5 o'clock. That's a Saturday, and it's East Texas Sportsman Oasis. We just have a good time. We've got thousands of dollars of giveaways. That crossbow over there we're just giving away to somebody that comes. Trico donated this cooler, and we've got thousands of other of things we're going to bring out and give away during that. So come out if you like hunting or you want to get your early Christmas list done. So you don't like any of that stuff, come and get something for free and give it away. Give it to me for Christmas. I'll be happy with that. So, but we're glad you're here. Thankful we can be a part of this. And so we haven't had prayer and we're in the church, so I'm going to have prayer real quick, and then I'm going to introduce the chief. Lord, thank you for this opportunity to be together. Bless this event and be with the chief as he speaks today and this evening to us, and just pray that you give him clarity of mind and helping to deliver what we need to hear. And thank you for this town and this city that you allow us to be a part of, and what a blessing it is to serve and to work here in Marion County and in Jefferson, Texas. And we ask these things in your name. Amen. So, police chief, I was given this, so if any of it's wrong, you can just blame this. But he's Police Chief Florentino Perez was born and raised in Marshall, Texas, and has served the Jefferson Police Department now for 7 years, and as chief since 2020. Prior to coming to Jefferson, he served as the chief of Linden Kildare CISD Police Department in 2015 and 16. He's a 2014 graduate of ETBU, the degree in criminal justice and a minor in sociology, and a 2009 graduate of Marshall High School. Chief Perez graduated from the East Texas Police Academy in 2015. Our chief has specialized training in criminal investigations, mental health, community policing, and is a special investigator of sexual assault and family violence. And his most important job is dad to a very beautiful 3-year-old daughter, Adelaide. She is so cute and getting cuter all the time. So she knows it. So, ladies and gentlemen, we welcome Jefferson Police Chief Florentino Perez.
I mean, it's okay with me. You're not going to insult me, okay? So, but we're going to get started now. So you're here today because of home business security assessment, and more than likely you want to know what you can do better. We all want to know we can do better, and there are things that every one of us can do better. But for the most part, I want y'all to understand that we all fail at the simple things. As often as we take reports regarding burglary of vehicles, not everyone, 99% of the time, the vehicle was accidentally left unlocked. It's a very rare occurrence that someone actually smashes a window to break inside of a vehicle. And it's a simple slip of mind. Everyone gets comfortable, everyone gets complacent. I'm not here to, punish anybody or say that you're at fault for your own crime, but there is a part of it in an officer's mind that goes, you left it unlocked. But we're going to go forward from that, and we're going to learn from our mistakes, okay? We're going to begin off by covering outdoor boundary safety, okay? We're going to work it in from outside of a residence or a business, and we're going to start focusing and moving it towards just the center and what we can individually do better, okay? So when you're thinking of a house or a business, you want to control access, you want to provide opportunities to see and be seen, and you want to define ownership and encourage and maintain territory. And here we go. Very simple. When we control access to anything, or a house or a residence or a business, what we want to do is create both real and perceptual barriers to entry of movement and allow, in simple, where is the entry to a house, where's the entry to a business, okay? You're going to do this with signs. You're going to do this with, there we go. Do this with signs, do this with entries, and mainly this is for businesses. So we're going to go back and forth throughout this entire presentation on business and actual homes, okay? At your house, everyone can pretty much know where the entrance is, where the exit is, where you're allowed to go, where you're not allowed to go, okay? In a business, what you want to do is maintain that signs are clean, signs are new, to establish some sense of ownership within your own business. When you do that, what you're going to do is eliminate the proportionality that an individual will see it and say, hey, this place is being looked after. Does that make sense? We got new signs. This person cares about their business. We shouldn't burglarize this place. Controlling access also involves other things, and that is locks. You want to make sure your windows have locks on them. We live in a historic town where we have really nice antique 1950 windows. Or you don't have a lock, but the window's been painted shut. That's a common occurrence. It happens. But you want to make sure that over time that these windows have been updated, not just to security standards, but also weather standards. Okay? Over time, they will break down. Barriers will happen. They will break down over time as well. And it's also important to remember a pretty common phrase, that locks are designed to keep the honest man out. And I say that because, again, with burglary of a vehicle, and that's a common thing that we see. We haven't seen one in a while, but when we do see it, when one vehicle has been burglarized, we can backtrack the neighborhood and discover through cameras that they checked a dozen other vehicles. But just because it was locked, they kept moving forward. Most of the time, it is a criminal who is open to the opportunity of criminal behavior. So if we can limit their access by any ways possible, that's going to help everything out. It's going to keep yourself safe, keep your family safe, just by locking a door, okay? I think I want to touch on locks just a little bit more. As we go inside, as we move to the next section, and we're going to talk about that a little bit more, about locks. Okay, so this is a big one, control and access. I think I had a question earlier today, or earlier before this began, And it was focusing on, it is an expensive system to have. Security systems are expensive for that peace of mind. You have your commercial brands, and you're also going to have your private brands of security system. As technology advances, what you're going to see is items like Ring. I know ADT is a commercial brand. We have Ring, that's a private style brand that have branched away from the commercialization of it. Is there any other forms of security systems that we can think of? Simply Safe. Yes. And they're going to offer different price variations. What you're going to have in security systems, and I encourage everyone to get one, rather it be a commercial brand or a privatized brand. I myself have the Ring because it's affordable. You buy the whole package, and then you monitor. I think with monitoring, it's about $15 a month. And it also keeps in the cloud camera footage and things like that for like 6 months. So I don't have to worry about storing that camera footage or worry about memory at house, okay? We're going to touch just quickly on commercial alarm systems. They do offer 24/7 monitoring. Your equipment is usually leased for about 2 years. So after 2 to 3 years, you're going to see a price deviation where you're just paying for the 24/7 monitoring. It is third-party monitored. So there is a dispatch center somewhere in Dallas where someone breaks, into a building, sets an ADT alarm off. I think over time they've changed this, but we will get the call about 5 minutes later. There's a lot of things that can be done in 5 minutes. There's a lot of property damage that can be done in 5 minutes. When we get the alarm calls, usually they're weather related, but we approach every situation at the police department as if it is a legitimate threat. And we also know that if we're getting the call, that it's already been going off for 5 minutes. And unfortunately, if you don't have it set up on your phone through some of these systems where you get an automatic alert, or maybe you're asleep and you just missed the alert, if it's a business, hopefully it's not your house being burglarized and you're not aware that it's happening. But that's something that we do see a lot of. With the private security systems, with my system, I get alerts, constant notifications. It's push notifications, things that you can have set up on your phone. I think right now we live in an age where 95% of the population is going to have a smartphone. Do we have any flip phones in here? Do we have any jitterbugs in here? No. So, what is it? For the convenience, it's okay. It's okay. Commercial system is what you want to get if you're going to be away currently with the way the county is right now. If you're away from internet access. Your privatized systems where with Ring or other third-party systems, it's going to require some sense of internet access. But you do have that other option, and that's the commercial line, okay? And then over time, you're going to be paying a substantial amount of money until it is paid off. We're going to move from security systems to cameras. We love cameras, right? Yes. Keep us safe. That's a police officer saying yes, they love cameras. We do. They document. There are times where a vehicle gets burglarized. We do have fingerprints, but we also have everyone's fingerprints who's touched a car. And it's eliminating a party of 20, 30 people, unless it's just you and we know it's your fingerprints. Cameras are extremely useful. They're extremely affordable. You can get them to where they're wired, where they don't shoot to the cloud, or you can get them where they are nice and fancy, and you can view them on your smartphone, saved at a different location, and it's a peace of mind. At the same time, criminal behavior will be reduced when they know they're being watched. When an individual feels like they're being watched, they're least likely to commit a crime. That's a guilt aspect of it. When we're moving through this process, it's very important that not only do you get a camera system, security system, I'm not saying that you get them, but these avenues as you take forward, it's important that you maintain ownership of this product by keeping them new, up to date, clean. There are times where, I'm not going to name the gas station, but they recently updated their system, and they had the same security system for 18 years. So we're talking 360p, if not 180p, as far as the quality of what we're watching. We're watching, I mean, it was a fuzz. We know as a person who assaulted that other person. And the only reason they updated, sadly, was because of a lawsuit. Someone fell, and the camera didn't get a good, clear image. Unfortunately, it takes times, or things occur where we take action. Something happens to us, something happens next door, where we decide, you know what, let's update this system sometimes when it's too late for that event. Does that make sense? Think of a time like that. So it's always good to be proactive in those things and just be open-minded that we'd rather have something in place rather than not seeing something happen when it does happen. Oh, this right here is part of natural surveillance when controlling exterior space. Does that look pretty? Do we think that looks pretty? Yes. Do we see a problem with it? Probably. Yes. When it comes to maybe a burglar wanting to hide, especially at night, when an officer or somebody driving by is just going to think it's just another flower, not a head or a person. It's also something like this will allow access to the windows, and a burglar can spend time on those windows because they don't have to worry about being seen. And it goes with the same thing for the back of a residence or the back of a building that we need to be conscientious of, especially when it comes to, I think the next one is right. Well, we're going to do this first. So going to businesses. Can y'all think of a convenience store that has every type of advertisement in the window, from cigarettes to lottos to the beer that they're having to a missing dog to, everything. Well, unfortunately, it does prevent people driving by to see what's occurring inside the business. Okay? What you want to do is allow enough, when you own a business, allow enough visualization so people can look inside your business. At the same time, you don't want to do this to your house. Okay? You don't want people looking in your house when you're just trying to relax. Or if you yourself are an exhibitionist or something of such. One of those things. Trying to change it up a bit. Defining ownership separate from cleaning, maintaining yard, keeping everything clean, well-cut grass, keeping your yard or your signs replaced, new. What you're telling a criminal is someone cares for this property enough that, unfortunately, if they were to make that next step, they're going to defend their property. Okay? I'm not saying that if a unkept yard is not going to, that owner is not going to want to defend their property as well, because I've seen some secedists who have felt that way as well. Did I skip one? So we're going to move from external to internal security. This is also geared towards homes and businesses. It's not just one or the other. This is just things that I want y'all to keep in mind as we move forward. Cameras, locks, windows, lights. Important document storage. People don't think about that until it's too late. And personnel concerns, hiring, training, and termination, as well as housekeepers, people you let in your house. These are just some of the things that I want y'all to be conscientious of. Internal security measures. Cameras again. We love them. We love them. For solving crimes, we just overall love them. But some of the problems that we do encounter when people do have the cameras, whether it be low quality, then we see the other fold of that in that it's so high tech that they don't know anything about the system. Their son, their brother, their son-in-law installed them, and they actually don't even have the password at all. Does that ring a bell for some people? Again, I'm not meant to point anybody out, but this is what we do encounter. At the same time, we don't want you storing a password on the post-it on the security system, because we have seen that. We do encourage you to use some type of cloud storage separate from it being stored, the footage being stored in a box or something, or a DVR in the house. Does that make sense? So there's a separate location storage in case someone was to burglarize, destroy even a building. It is stored remotely somewhere else. You do also want it to face main pathways and exits. This point it works. Kind of works. Does anyone know what these 6 and 5 kind of, what is that for? Exactly. So I couldn't find a date for when this process started, but I can only imagine it was so many times in a big city, metroplex areas where they decided, you know what, we're going to start putting stickers on these doors. Locks. Does anyone have a house that with locks look like that? Yeah. So you do want to have secure locks in your house or business. You also want to make sure that when you install a lock that it's secure enough and can withstand someone trying to kick it in. Okay. There are processes put in place where you can put a deadbolt right through a door frame. That's what's strongly recommended, not necessarily just a lip in, because you can still kick it in. What we have seen a lot of success in is a keypad access if it's a business. And that's only because a keypad can be cleared of the numbers and reprogrammed, rather than an entire door being rekeyed, like we've seen in some commercial places where a disgruntled employee has to leave and they have a bunch of keys. One case that I remember working, it happened at the Shell station. And it's funny because there was a disgruntled employee who was assisting her boyfriend in burglarizing the Shell station. Okay. So she had been fired 2 days prior, and her boyfriend went there using her keys, unlocked the door, went in, and took several $1,000s worth of lottery tickets and cigarettes. They covered their face. One of them had an orange Harley Davidson hoodie on, and the other one had special Ugg boots. Well, and a red hoodie. And they're young, so mind you of what I'm about to tell you next. 2 hours prior to them committing that burglary, I was working deep nights. I actually saw them at the next gas station across the street at the Kim's. And they walked in, and I knew who they were. I said, "Hey, how are y'all?" And they said, "Hey, Tino, how are you doing?" And then the next day, of course, I hear about a burglary that took place at Shell. When reviewing the cameras, they were wearing the same hoodie, same jackets. I know. And then they, walked in, and I'm just thinking, they're just a bunch of idiots. Sometimes, they do it to themselves, okay? But I do recommend the commercial grade if you have a business, and there's also a residential grade keypad where you can reprogram the locks every so often. Windows. Windows, this goes for residential and businesses, and that is, it's really easy to break a pane of glass. It can be, especially when it is a window that's from the 70s or 80s. I would consider, if not replacing them, and we've seen a lot of this where there are double windows put inside the residence to maintain the historic tradition on the outside, but it looks, obviously, it's more secure as there's a gap with newer windows. There's also aftermarket window tint that allows you to put over a window like a regular tint, which will add that extra strength to that window. Something to consider. I believe that very technique is being talked about at the school district as we speak for their windows. Lights.
Who does the tinting here?
For that, it's I don't believe I have a company that have the safety proof or safety window tint. But I can definitely look to see. I know we have Aaron's glass. I don't know exactly how far they go into doing something like that. Lights. And I think we did miss a PowerPoint, but I'll just discuss it here. So lights. LED lights are extremely inexpensive today. They'll last 5-6 years now. They're bright, inexpensive over time, after the initial purchase, of course. But even, I think we made a big transition at the police department, and we're already seeing with the fluorescent light bulbs a change, and we replaced them with an LED straight wired, and we've seen a drop in our energy bill already. And at the police department in the hallway, they're always left on so everyone can see. We do encourage you to leave lights on or a light on in a business, in a home if you're not there. For external, which this is the PowerPoint I skipped, there are things that you can do. You can get a flood lamps, LED flood lamps, motion detector flood lamps, light bulbs in the front of the house, which are normally your standard 40-watt Philips. You can now get a 6-watt that puts off equivalent of 60-watt energy, blue light, daylight, super bright. I do encourage that. There are times, if you drive by my house, and some of y'all know where I live, at night my lights are on. I just got to have them on. There are times where we drive around neighborhood and it's pitch black. I completely understand it. I think it goes back to individuals being comfortable where you live, and that's perfectly fine. We want to be that. We want to be comfortable. We want to be safe where we live. Lights, I would at least encourage you to get a porch light or something that you may leave on throughout the evening. If not that, they do develop lights where it's a standard light bulb and it's motion detected. You can do it normally and it will turn on when at least someone approaches. I do encourage that. When you're not home, I would encourage you to leave a light on inside the residence, inside of a business as well. There are places downtown that, again, completely pitch black at night, which is ideal for someone wanting to spend their time working on a building, breaking in. Before I continue, there's one other story. I know you like the stories. This one involves the drugstore. We can discuss it now because he took a plea for 15 years, I believe, the one that we caught. And the other ones is a case working with the DEA. Well, we do know that the Jefferson drugstore got burglarized a year and a half ago. Do we know that? There was an attempted burglary. There was an attempted. A lot of damage, door replaced. The city drug, yeah, downtown. So, it was a year and a half ago, year ago? Okay. Well, it was very interesting. After everything, the plea, dead to rights, caught him red-handed, multiple cameras. I lived downtown at the time. I had a camera across the street, punch in the face, across the street. I had a camera on the outside of the building. I was one of the cameras. Again, dead to rights. He took a plea. There was no fighting that case. I got the privilege of interviewing him as part of his plea deal. And I treated it more like a case study rather than finding out the other individuals who were involved because he didn't really know their names. They're from the Houston area. They know nothing of Jefferson, never been here, just passing through. There's a group in Houston on the block that he lives in where they do this very thing. They train the next person to do this very thing. And that is they drive up north, hit drugstores, or survey drugstores. They're looking for certain things, and I believe it was, what was it? It was a type of, normally we take it for just simple pain. It was a cough syrup style. What was it? No, it was not pills. It wasn't even heavy narcotics. No. Now, it does have codeine in it. It's a liquid. What was it? No. So it's a commercial grade, or not commercial grade, one that you would just give a little teaspoon. Okay. I think it's in all of certain genres of music, sings it about it all the time. They're in this, okay, so I'm talking to him. He's describing the technique, what he does, and how he found out about Jefferson. On the way through town, coming back, they have already hit, I think, Little Rock, Arkansas, Little Rock. They need gas, so they stop at Cefco. And as they're in Cefco, they're filling up, getting something to drink, and then they ask the clerk, I don't even know who they talked to, how many officers are working tonight? And she said, oh, there's only one officer working tonight. Oh, okay, that's all we need to know. So they go to their car and they Google it. Google Apple Maps, drugstore. And we find this all out because we had their phone, because they left it when he ran. And they drive downtown, circle the block about 4 times, slow roll. And of course they see my car outside because I'm at home, and they just drive past it. They pull up behind the drugstore, and they commence to hammering at the door while one person is watching down the alley where my car's parked, just to make sure I wasn't at home eating, a quick bite or something. And then after that, someone calls it in because they live in the proximity of what's going on and can hear all the banging that someone's breaking into the drugstore. After that, there was an officer an officer and a deputy at the jail right there. So the call immediately comes in. They run out the door, hop in their car. At this time, the getaway driver hops in the vehicle first, takes off, leaves his other 2 compadres, drives around, and that's when At that time, our city officer, Stephen Combs, pulls up and stops him. And I think he ran from the traffic stop on foot. They later caught him. He was out of breath. I think he was 30, and he was 35. He's too old to be playing this game. And the other two were in their 20s. One of them did vomit. We do know that. And another one had cut his hand so bad from a previous Arkansas burglary that he had bloody towel and stuff left behind. So we were able to charge the one individual, and I only needed one. He was going to go down for all of it anyways. So he did. ATF is, of course, picking up the case for the other two because they're part of a ring. When talking to him, he says he picked City Drug because he can see, and it's funny how you described our town. All your historic towns, older towns, are brick, mortar. Take your time with it because it's old. He can see through the front windows of the drug shop, see exactly what he wants. And they're like, that's where we're going to get it, through the back door too. They were not counting on someone to, of course, live so close by and hear everything. But it was really interesting hearing his perspective on why they chose that one spot. And it was not by a full casing of the joint for hours or getting ready. Yeah? Question? Yeah.
What you was asking about, what was the drug?
Mm-hmm.
Called promethazine?
It was promethazine. Yes. Yes. They had, and it comes in a bottle. It was promethazine with codeine is what they were targeting. That was the most important thing that they were targeting.
It's over the counter, it's a drug cough syrup.
It's a heavy cough syrup. Heavy. It's called drink. I know it's called drink. So fast forward, we're gonna go back here to internal security. Again, I know I have stories. That was a good story, right? We got the bad guy. The drugstore, they own the Mathewson Drug and Marshall, and they've been burglarized 4 times, very similar. And of course, the one time they tried to burglarize here in Jefferson, we got him. So that made the owners feel good, made us feel good too. So moving back to where I was, we're going to talk about storing your own documents, and we see a lot of this too. Not necessarily thieving or someone burglarizing things, just through natural disasters and damaging. You have what important documents and storage that y'all need to try to keep and protect for security reasons. Our personal files for businesses, major purchase orders, management files, of course, plans for a building, deeds. Hopefully you can see, hopefully these are stored somewhere really secure. Or at least copies are made. We're gonna go forward. Banking papers, checkbooks. Let me stop right there. Checkbooks. And I say that because we want to believe everyone's good people. That's what we want to believe. But there are those who will take advantage of a checkbook because of a checking account and an account number that's already printed there. Make their own copies of your checks, and then start writing out checks to themselves. We have seen it. And usually it's done in a manner where they hope not to get caught, but they get caught today. Banks are tired of it. They see it all the time. So they have increased security themselves. They'll catch a check. Even when you wrote the check, they'll flag a check now. It's almost hypersensitive method. But you want to keep these kind of documents secure and only accessible by people you truly trust. And you want to believe it's family too. You know, you want to believe you can trust family. But we've seen those cases as well. You want to try to store it in a fireproof cabinet. You want to store it in watertight containers if you can. You also want to limit access to where people can get to these kind of documents. If you do have the camera system, you want to make sure you are filming these locations and consider having duplicate files stored off. We're going to talk a little bit about business and personnel, because we see a lot of it, especially in the any restaurant owners in here. Today it's hard to find people who work, who can work. I'll say that. It's hard to find people who want to work. So what we do see is waiters and cooks, especially downtown, jumping from a restaurant to a restaurant. There are times where we have encountered these people in the past, and we know what they're capable of. Hopefully they've changed, and usually they prove us wrong or prove us right that they haven't, and wrong in disappointment. But what you as a business owner, or even hiring people to do work for you, because we do have a lot of people who do hire just people to do simple work, laborers. Do a simple background check, call around, get decent references. Especially if you have business, because the only person who is going to be at loss if you hire the wrong person is yourself, if you own a business. You want to make sure you have trusted people coming into your home as well, especially if you hire someone to clean it up or tidy it up. Try to get decent references. I can't, by law, run background checks for people unless it's for a legitimate legal reason why I can run somebody. But I can, because of freedom of information, tell you if they've at least ever been arrested in Jefferson. That's the part I can do. I just can't say if they've been arrested in Louisiana. But more than likely, if they have. Red flags, trust your gut. If you have red flags about someone, always do that. What we have seen is especially during our blackouts that we recently had. Anyone been a part of a major blackout for maybe 5-6 hours last month, 2 months, 3 months?
Ours was out for 21 hours.
Yeah, you were one of the last ones to get everything back on, right?
Yes, 21 hours and 43.
I think you're there 4 months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you want to make sure businesses, personnel know what to do in the event of something like this happening. The gas stations, they have a strict protocol, kick everybody out, shut the doors. I think Kim's have chains that they're on the doors to add to it. There are some businesses that may still be running. I know they're in our blackout areas. We have certain businesses that are up to date, have generators that would turn on to at least add that security. If y'all noticed, what is it? Riverside Bank was lit up like a Christmas tree during the blackout because they have nice generators. Also, you want to make sure that your personnel knows what to do with suspicious behavior. You want to know that they know to document certain things either mentally or at least write things down and at least report it to us. We do get calls that we later find out were not really anything important, but we'd rather have those calls than something serious that was neglected to be informed to us. When normally something like that would have been, hey, we got somebody walking around here, shouldn't be around here. It goes back to the simple thing of you see something suspicious, say something. These are some of the details that we hope to achieve when people do call us, okay? An individual, he's walking down the street, he doesn't look right. Unfortunately, that's majority of what we have to work with. Downtown Jefferson, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, that's not going to help us out, because just like Walmart, we get some interesting characters in town. We do hope to get these basic information. The gender of the person, the ethnicity of the person, the approximate age. We also want to know if there's any weapons involved. Usually that's if a crime actually did occur to somebody. Specific unique characteristics, a limp or tattoo on the face, direction of travel upon leaving. A lot of the times that gets left out. And were they alone? I know there is sometimes maybe an assault, or we haven't had any robberies, but it's overwhelming, and that's not, you're barely going to get any information whatsoever. Their face was covered. I don't remember who they were. Usually, I will tell you, specific unique characteristics stand out ahead of everything else. Usually, if someone has a cane or is, missing a limb, that's obviously going to be something that and it's going to stick out to us as well. Okay, this is what we do see. Most of thefts from inventory occur when it comes to a business? Unfortunately, it's employee theft. It's not outside theft, it's employee theft. And if you're the only employee, then that's something you need to be worried about. There is different types of employee theft, of course. You have the inventory, service, data. We have seen credit card abuse come from that, where they get credit card information, theft of money right from the till. Payroll, and theft of payroll is where we're seeing the hot checks being written from employers. So you want to try to protect that. Theft of time and theft of joy. I have witnessed that as well from my employees sometimes. How to handle employee theft. When you discover that it occurred, even if that is somebody who's working for you, you want to make sure that you have enough evidence to prove to that fact. Because if it goes to a law enforcement manner, we're going to need more than just it's a gut feeling that they're stealing from me. And you also want to make sure that's a sure thing that someone is stealing from you before you start accusing someone of stealing from you. Of course, we also want to give people a second chance. It happens quite often. We see it quite often. And this is where I reference cooks and waitresses and waiters. Because when we see them, we know, they just got caught stealing down the road. But of course, businesses don't want to shine bad light on their establishment as terminating someone for stealing. So they say, you're fired, go down the road. Sadly, it's going to happen everywhere, just like that. So it's always important to try to be firm with those stances. And if you do catch an employee stealing from you, move forward making that hard call. Or run the risk of it having repeated against you again. How to handle it, of course, I covered making sure you have enough information to prove the fact. At the same time, be conscientious of showing leniency. If you are terminating an employee, because this happens as well, an employee may get out of hand, or you know how they're going to react to the accusation, call us. We're perfectly fine with standing there, rather preventing something from happening, and instead of getting a call an hour later after an assault has taken place. We'd much rather be there just to prevent something from happening. We're going to jump into personal safety. Right. I think I'm doing good, right? Doing okay. Personal safety. Identity theft for financial security, and of course protection from physical harm, stand your ground, methods of protection, license to carry versus constitutional carry. Financial security, okay? Identity theft is on a rampage right now. Most importantly, scammers are left and right. The past month, I've received about 5 different messages from friends asking if I had PayPal or some other avenue of exchanging money. And it's really not them. There are individuals who are duplicating social media to appear as a friend, when in reality it's not them. My suggestion to that is to add friends that you actually know on Facebook and be willing to actually call them in the event someone sends you a private message saying, hey, I just need $50, you know, and I can get it from your bank account myself. Just let me know the passwords and everything. Are there any other type of anyone wants to share that they've seen? Yes, Paul.
What's the best way for us to tell at a gas station if
A skimming device is there. Who overlooks gas pump skimmers? Y'all know who does that? It's which department from the government? Department of Agriculture? Yes. Yes. The Department of Agriculture overlooks gas pump skimming. And you're thinking, what in the world would that department be overlooking that fuel pumps? Well, it's because of the regulations tied to the fuel companies, and they have put processes in place to stop the theft. Because it's taking money out of the oil companies, of course. Their pockets are getting hurt too. What we've been seeing a rise, and I went to a conference 3 weeks ago, and I think Tyler, they have created a special division with the state to focus on that very thing. Gas skimming is definitely a thing. It is. There was a time where you can open up your phone, look at Bluetooth, and know that there's a skimming device in there. Well, yes.
Someone, somehow, some way, got my credit card information and purchased a phone in China.
Mm-hmm.
So, of course, the bank alerted me and had to get a new credit card, had to put a stop on my account. How in the world?
Extremely inconvenient too,
Yes, very much so.
especially if you don't have the right protections and you eat the entire cost. They're extremely creative. Law enforcement's always 5 steps behind catching up to criminal behavior. For gas pump skimmers, they're less and less likely because of the regulations that the Department of Agriculture is putting on these licensings to sell fuel. So they're having to check them extremely well and periodically, like once, at minimum, once every 3 days or something like that. So the tellers are always out there making sure the tape's on the device, things like that. They're getting creative. The banks are tired of it too, so they're getting ahead of this as well. It's not just, it is a law enforcement matter, but when you start messing with the big company's money, they're obviously going to get involved and try to stop something from happening like that. Be aware of who you give your credit card information to. There are companies, big companies, that do get hacked where they will steal millions and millions of data, personal data from these companies just to have your credit card number. Always call your bank. There's always protections out there where they can say you want additional extra security, and I mean, it will get to the point where you're calling just to buy a loaf of bread or unlock it for something. And if it comes down to it, it's electronic money. It's money you never see. And there's money that people will take advantage and take. That will always be a thing.
The bank, they look to do you real good.
Mm-hmm. And there are those, and they have measures put in place to try to stop things like that, especially when they see a purchase from China. I'm sure they're immediately, whoa, what's going on here? But yes, turn on those functions. Also consider turning on, overdraw protection. So if someone was to unfortunately get a hold of your bank account, they would not push it way into the negative before your bank shuts it off. Okay? Anyone have a story they want to share regarding this? Or being contacted by any members of my police department trying to say there's a warrant out for your arrest, because we've heard that as well. And the police, yes.
Sorry, I was just gonna say, we had made a trip, I think it was somewhere to Arkansas, stayed at a resort or something. And then my husband got a message from that, there had been some charges put on their credit card that we used to pay for the time we stayed there. And they wanted certain information,
Hmm.
so they could put a stop to it, and they were asking for personal information.
Absolutely. There's a secret tool that the police use. I'm gonna tell you all about it. It's called Facebook. When we want to find somebody, the first thing we do is search Facebook. Everything's there. We'll search your name, first name, last name, Google search you real fast, see who you are, and then find you on Facebook. If you're a person of interest and we don't really know who you are, again, we'll search Facebook. Because for some reason, you'll have your, and I've seen this, phone number, birthday, home address listed for the whole world to see. I would consider looking at, and I know Facebook has done a good job at adding additional securities. Nothing's safe, of course, but at least removing your birthday. Let's make it a little harder. You can have the day, not the year, so you can at least let the world know that it's your birthday when it comes time. Take your phone number off of there. There's no need for that. There are just other steps y'all can take, and I do encourage it. It's going to make our job harder, but I encourage it. Any other stories with identity theft? Yes, sir.
Just on your, read about the smart credit cards now, where you can go in and just tap the machine with the card. You have to be aware that someone can have one of those scanners in their purse standing right next to you. You can also scan your credit card, so it's important that you don't simplify your PIN or make the PIN too easy, because they've got your credit card information that's standing next to you.
Absolutely. There are, well, I think we got a call the other day about something like that possibly happening. And I think it was obviously some form of identity theft that was occurring, but not by the method that they were using, that they said was being used. What you will see, usually people involved in that is not from, they're not going to do it at home. We do see a lot of activity from Louisiana. We're going to see, because we're right there, we're a border county. We do see a lot of activity from Dallas, Houston, the Metroplex, of course, moving through 59, major road. But a lot of them, I think, start from internet purchases. Everyone here, I'm sure, has an Amazon account. They try to do their best to secure it, but you can only do so much. I would recommend probably changing your number, credit card information every so often to try to prevent, because it's going to be out there. Yes?
Okay, you'll see some kind of email from Prime or whatever for some amount, like $680 or something. Call us if this is not you.
Right. Yes, that's a common one. Or your UPS order is messed up.
Yes.
Log in right now, please. Yeah, it's
I'm
not.
also getting, I won the lottery. I won so much money, and I want to share with you. Click here,
Yeah, don't do that. Delete spam. Mark it as spam. Move forward. And if they really want to give you the money, they'll come to your door. Right. Publishers Clearinghouse.
I was just gonna, we had something really strange, I'll see if my husband can help me remember. It was on a website where I was selling something, and I had this table listed, and I got a note through the
Yeah.
website, not
Mm-hmm.
And so, they wanted to know my
Yep.
email, because they were gonna send me some money or something to
Mhm.
pick it up. So I gave them my email, and then they started sending me messages that, I was supposed to send them, they were gonna send me this check.
Right. Don't do that.
More
Don't do
than
that.
I was asking the table for.
And you just got to cash it right.
Yeah, it
I had
was
to
like,
cash.
Yeah.
oh gee, I sent them, I'm not counting that mistake.
Mm-hmm.
The moving expenses, and we were moving, and your table, just send us the stuff back. I called old friend Baker, and, he told me an interesting aspect of that, said they can cancel that up to 2 months, you know,
Mhm.
after you put it in there, you say, okay, it cleared, I waited 5 or 6 days, it shows
Right.
it cleared. He said they can go back in and cancel it up to 2 months afterwards. So you send them good money, a couple months later, your balance drops by that.
Right.
amount.
Right. What we're seeing is the check completely is fictitious.
I'm sorry, what?
It's false. It's wrong. It's a fake check.
Yeah.
That is what we're seeing. They'll do it. They'll want you to do it on a Friday late evening into the ATM automatic teller machine, or they'll want you to do it Saturday or Sunday, because Monday is when it's going to get caught. Monday is when the bank's going to say your account is in the negative now because you cashed this check that was fake, and we caught it. You become, I think it's referred to as cleaning the money, and someone wins, of course, and it's not you. We do see that a lot. There was a recent case 2 weeks ago regarding the thrift store on 49. I don't know if y'all heard about it in town. There was an individual who created a fake profile, said that there was going to be a special event over here at the thrift, what is it called? Cross Threads. Thank you, Mary. Cross Threads. And you took that report, didn't you? Yes, Cross Threads. And it's a vendor application. You have to send us some money so we can save you a spot. A couple people did it. They didn't know this person. It was a legitimate advertisement for it, but there was no event at Cross Threads. And they exchanged money through a Cash App or one of those things, which is extremely difficult to find who originated the account. It's not like a bank. You have to go in, prove who you are, open an account, establish all of that. No, this is, you can create one in 5 minutes online. So there's really no way of solving those crimes. And I think it costs 2 to 3 people $50 a piece until it was determined that there was no event happening at Cross Threads. So it's very important, and they didn't know the person. It's very important to establish that this is a real event or real thing happening, because obviously this is another technique that someone is using to gain money, quick buck here and there. And it's 100% free. It's all online, so there's no expenditures that's costing them anything. We're going to move down to another form of protection for self, and that is physical protection. Of course, knives, pepper spray. I did put in there, most importantly, knowing how to use it, and fighting, of course, self-defense, and the willingness to fight. Pepper spray. Anyone in here have pepper spray? I didn't put taser on there. I should have put taser on there. Yes. Taser, I can see that. Stun gun, I can see that. The pepper spray is a police officer's worst nightmare. And it's only because if you use it, more than likely, before an arrest is made or completed, or even after arrest is made, somehow it gets in your eyes as well. So if you're going to have it, make sure you know what you're probably going to experience, especially if you're going downwind or upwind from when you spray it, because it may have the opposite effect of what you wanted. Yes, Doug.
Pepper spray also has a tendency, it has a short burst, it wants to fan.
Yes.
What I've learned recently is bear spray. Can't get it here because you order it, but I can get you from here with bear spray. It says I
Yeah.
can go 25 yards.
Right. So what we have access to is crowd pepper spray. It's like a little fire extinguisher. Just get the whole crowd and be done with it. And turn on, a fire hydrant to wash it all out. And it does reactivate once it's dried and cleared. Or you take a shower, it lights you right back up. And it does wash down. So just be careful when using it. I think we're moved forward. Anyone else know any other small weapons, tactics for personal protection? Because we are going to get quickly into license to carry versus constitutional carry. I believe it is an American's right to carry a firearm. As long as you're not mentally ill, you shouldn't really carry a firearm or engage in criminal activity and all the other. But if you're a law-abiding citizen, you have the right to defend yourself against some of the evilest things in this world. That's how I feel. So, if you're ever thinking about the difference between should I go out and get the full license to carry, or should I just carry it as if an open carry, which Texas law allows you to do now, I would strongly encourage you to get a license to carry license. And that's because the additional training you're going to be required to get, as well as other advantages that you're going to have with it. With the license to carry, it is recognized in 37 other states, so you're able to travel with your gun in other states. You have to make sure you know which states it is when you're traveling, because some of them do require you to have it separate from ammunition, or you're not allowed to have it at all. Which, in those states, crime is through the roof. Interesting. Background checks are obviously necessary for a license to carry, and you do have certain legal protections when carrying in certain prohibited places when you do have a license to carry. And, I ran over it real fast. One of the best things about a license to carry is when you go to purchase a firearm, you kind of jump ahead of the line, and you can walk out the same day with the gun. That's why police officers get it. Of course, airport protections, when you have a license to carry, you're actually able to not travel on the plane, or with it on the plane, but separate with it on the plane in a carry-on, or not carry-on, in a lockbox, and police officers also are allowed to do it.
Now, are y'all gonna do it any classes on license to carry?
I can actually do that, yes. And I can get it on, so I'm not gonna train you, or we're not gonna cover all that, because I wish I had the time, but I don't. But I can point you in the right direction. There are places in Marshall that have the classes. There's a group in town, the shooting group, Black Cypress training group. They're working on getting that capability, and they're made up of the 2 game wardens assigned to us, Rob Furlow and Jack Pearl, and Del Sherrill, the school officer. They're good people. Constitutional carry. It does not require a license, and there's no testing required. So, that kind of makes me uneasy. So these are some of the stipulations pertaining to it. What I'll do, because there's a lot here, is there anyone interested in license to carry or open carry, anything like that? So we have one.
I have a Georgia one that I need to.
Yeah, you do.
Lamar did his, Rick did his over a week ago.
Yeah, you change that over. But I know
I have to go through the whole class, correct?
there's a good possibility you have to go through the whole class, yeah.
Because he spent 8 hours over there.
There are some places like driver's ed, they'll serve a lunch in the middle.
Then they said,
No, they didn't serve us lunch, but we spent a lot of time classwork,
Mhm.
all classwork. We went and we had to go shoot, go to 5 range and shoot. You have to shoot 50 rounds.
Mhm. If Are you a member of U.S. Law Shield or any of those protection groups? Okay. If you go on the aspect of carrying a firearm religiously, which at any time evil can strike, I can tell you that could be a thing that may happen today. But I'm not here to scare you, okay? I would strongly recommend that you join a group that has legal protections that can provide you with an attorney that will fight for your rights for defending your own life. Because we have seen it to where families will attempt to sue even if you were defending yourself in a just manner. So to keep yourself from going into bankruptcy, there are organizations out there. I think U.S. Law Shield is one of them that will protect a police officers. We do have some. There's TMPA, there's CLEAT, U.S. Law Shield, and officers, sadly, that's something that we have to think of. I encourage every officer, I can't make it mandatory, but I encourage every officer to get additional counsel in the event something like that was to happen, either on duty or off duty. I'm not going to go too much into the license to carry because there's a lot of stipulations tied to it, and we are, look at there, 13 minutes over, right? This is good. There's a lot of information here. I'm going to try to fast forward through it. All this is information you can get on the AG's website regarding the stipulations associated with getting a license to carry and what you need, or what you must have or not have been involved in to constitutional carry, open carry. So we're going to jump into situational awareness. It's very important to always trust, and this is the most important, your gut feeling. Your gut feeling about people, your gut feeling about a situation you may be involved in, gut feeling about just the people around you. I feel like there's a reason why we were given that unique gift, and that is our own, what would you call it? Natural inclination to how we're developed. Our own survival. But situational awareness it involves knowing what is going on around you at any given time. Achieving situational awareness relies on your ability to see, understand, and analyze the world around you in the context of what you are trying to do. There are times where we do get comfortable. Again, that's everybody. Trust your gut, stay vigilant, stay alert, maintain the ability to leave. That's most important. At any time, the doors will open, so you are free to leave. I don't want you to feel like you're locked in here. At the same time, it would be against your constitutional right for me to lock you in here as a police officer. So, I want to just urge that this also falls in line with reporting suspicious activity, because sometimes you see things or know things are out of place, and I strongly recommend you either report it, document it, or know that it's out of place. Be aware of what should be normal. Normally you do. Normally you know that John usually is up by now. I don't understand what's going on. And you call us, do a welfare check. We go there and realize, oh, he's just out of town. Forgot to tell somebody. We love those stories. We do. Don't assume abnormal behavior doesn't pose a threat. Just keep an eye on it. If something just seems uneasy or unusual, keep an eye on it. Pay attention to time. What this falls in line with is knowing that, sadly, usually people are on the same schedule. They do a certain thing at 5 in the morning, 6 in the morning, 7 in the morning, 8 in the morning. You know when the newspaper comes, gets delivered, and you also know when things are out of place. Just be aware that that's a normal behavior that you're experiencing when you're catching those abnormalities. and don't let strangers in your personal place. As we go through and we talked about skimmers and electronic recording of devices, just keeping people 6-foot rule, stay away, get out of my space, you know. You're allowed to say that now. It's not rude. Right? Trust your gut. That's what I'll tell you. Community communications, very important. Marion County is a small county, and I see a lot of familiar faces in here, and that's a good thing. And I want y'all to feel comfortable enough to talk to the police department, and I want y'all to allow me to talk to you. If that makes sense. Know your neighbors, know your neighborhood. That's what we have seen and have prevented, especially individuals come into town just to mosey around. They're from out of town. They're just passing through. We do have a couple of, it's never a correct term, homeless individuals passing through, travelers. Transients, nomadic individuals. Nomadic individuals. And they're backpacking, and sometimes they stay in town, and they tell us why when we encounter them 3 or 4 times ourselves. The reason why is because we're nice. We're loving, but to that point where someone can definitely take advantage. But just know who belongs and who doesn't belong. Consider creating a neighborhood watch program. That's definitely, I think the sheriff puts on, he's been doing it for a while, so that's something he's instrumental in doing. I haven't looked into it yet. I do know that there are certain areas in town where someone knows who's home, who's not home. But as more and more individuals move to town, the wonderful city of Jefferson, with the mentality of big city, it's unusual to come to town and realize, you know, it's okay to know your neighbor. It's okay to have dinner with your neighbor. We want that kind of atmosphere, we do. But trust your gut. Think about phone chains, that's something we can do. What I actually got set up with the help of our newest officer, McKnight, was anonymous reporting online using Google Forms. I think we pushed it on Facebook today. There is a piece of paper in the back with the latest QR code where I can assist you on how to get access to that, or go to the Facebook page, where you can anonymously report criminal behavior, suspicious behavior, drug activity, anything, city ordinance violation, that's a big one. And you're not necessarily putting your name on it. I think it's going to help us out. Yes.
That's something new. Let's say Saturday at 6 o'clock at night. If you make a phone call, it goes to the sheriff's department.
Correct.
What's the best way to tell you about something that's happening right away? Facebook, this new identity thing, phone call, internet?
No. So the best way to do that is definitely to call if you want a fast reaction. And you instruct, because they do have the sheriff's office has hired a lot of dispatchers lately. And with that, they're trying to get them trained up to par. You request to either speak to a city officer or have a city officer call you. Okay? And then you can talk directly one-on-one with that officer. The officers have no problems, and they better do that. I have 2 back there. Yes, sir. That's right. That's right. No. But the online reporting allows you to report something anonymously. I think it's going to help us out with at least getting some key information when people are afraid to talk to us, or at least put their name on it. I completely understand that. Of course, another avenue is we do live in the information world where you can stay in touch through Facebook. Nextdoor. Does anyone know the Nextdoor app in here? A couple people. You have it. I have it as well. I think larger cities have seen a lot of benefit from it. I wanted to entertain the idea, but I wasn't going to push an app on somebody if the majority of the group didn't have it to begin with. Does everyone here have Facebook? Okay. Yes, sir.
For people who have ring security, there's also an app called Neighbors.
Mm-hmm.
And if you have rings, you can connect with other people who have ring, and then that's how they put the security.
Mm-hmm. Yes, they do. You can push information about suspicious things that y'all have seen in the neighborhood. Real quick, what we've covered. It's small. So we covered outdoor, internal, personal, situational awareness, and community communication. Is there anything before I move forward that I can touch on real quick or elaborate more on? Yes, ma'am.
I would like to know, are we having more crime in Marion County? Has it increased than, say, a year ago or 6 months ago?
Right. I can speak on Jefferson alone because I have the numbers. I don't have them in front of me, but what I am seeing is a decrease in reported criminal behavior. We can't really pinpoint why, but there are some things that I know the police department is taking initiative on. One of the biggest things is the amount of security checks and things that we're performing throughout the day, throughout the evening. So that's doing is increasing patrol. It's increasing visualization. People see us, and statistically, if they see an officer, least likely that day, someone who normally engages in criminal activity is not going to engage in that criminal activity. But some of the businesses that we do, I call them hotspot businesses. Each night, officers will check storage units regularly. We'll check banks regularly. We'll check the ATMs, especially those that are isolated, regularly, the island ATMs. They'll check the drugstore. Of course, we have the luxury of having a gun shop in our town, so it gets checked regularly. The convenience stores get checked regularly. And we do have a number of those. Businesses that have an ATM installed in their business, it gets, even though the business is closed, gets checked throughout the evening. Houses that are on extra patrol for vacation, of course, is going to get checked regularly. We are strategically putting officers on the street. I want them out there. I want them seen. And I don't know if that's reducing crime, but I know that's one of the techniques that we are doing. Yes, sir.
What do you know about GPS surveillance of pretty valuable equipment like a tractor or something like that, that's inside one of our extra truck? And, you know, where you can monitor that at real time, something like that, where that vehicle is.
Okay. Are you talking about vehicles that have GPS on them, or?
I'm talking about if you install it.
Yes.
And actually have a tracker.
We're on the vehicle.
And you pay for the upper end of it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, where you call the monitoring service and see where it is. It's been gone 2 hours or something.
Okay. See, normally, it's usually the consumer who has a direct access to that company. And, I mean, they can definitely do that. We normally don't monitor vehicles like that.
I know you don't,
Okay.
but to me, that's a good idea to keep things being stolen when they're gone forever.
Oh, I completely agree with you. There are different things out there right now. I know Apple Tag, inexpensive tool. It's a little chip-looking device, equivalent in size of a CR2 battery, watch battery. And you can put those in products and things like that to monitor them, as well as individuals who are suffering from dementia. It's been a technique that's been used in shoes, especially their favorite pair of shoes that they're always going to put on, or that one item they're always going to put on. Something to think about.
How many officers do you have now?
And I have 5 officers, and I make the 6, and I count myself in there because I'm not afraid to drive around, answer a call, take a report. We are fully staffed, which is great. Oh, I know, I'm happy.
Is that kind of the accepted ratio that, police organizations recommend for population?
Oh, we can always use more. We can always use more. Jefferson.
Giving you a chance.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, no. I need 15. No. The Jefferson is unique in that we fluctuate per event. At night, the signs are more accurate with how many people's in town. But during the day, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, it doubles. We 4, 5, 6,000 people in town. And during events, that's also a thing. So individuals do try to compare us to other 2,000 population towns, and it's a unique town. I do have 4 reserve officers that I do pull in. They're not on full-time status, but they do work events. They have other jobs because they were smart enough to get out of this line of work full-time. But they do have other jobs, and of course, it's one of those things when you're a police officer, it's kind of in your blood. Any questions? See something, say something, okay? There we go, I skipped over this one. So we do have the vacation watch. I encourage those who are leaving to reach out to us. And this is any officer on duty. It doesn't have to be the office that you contact. You may have somebody, which is perfectly fine, that you enjoy talking to over others. Y'all may relate more. Mary is a particular favorite, which doesn't hurt my feelings. It's okay. And you can just reach out to her or reach out to anybody, and we can enter it into the system where every officer has access to it, which houses need to be checked regularly. Yes, sir.
Let them know, if you let them know which days you're gone and you come back early, let them know you're back home.
That's important too. Yeah.
I've gotten text back when we get home half a day early, and it's from them, and God love them for doing that.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh yeah, sorry, we're home.
Yeah.
But, beware of what your
Yes.
schedule is and what you told the police.
Absolutely. And it doesn't even have to, you don't have to let us know the day you're leaving. You can let us know a week out. We have the system set up for us to put, this is the day, this is the time you'll leave, this is when you'll be back, this is who's going to be there, this is who's should not be there. You know, my brother is not allowed at my house. Yeah, we get those.
So how many days, what's the maximum or the minimum length of time somebody's gonna be away, or is it if you're just gonna be away for a couple of days, we should let y'all know?
Well, it's up to you. You don't have to, it's not mandatory. No, we don't have. If you're going to be away for one day and you want your house checked, we'll do it. It really isn't a problem. Moving forward, this is me. There's 2 of me. That's mini me. Oh man, God, she knows it. This is my email address. You can email me. This is the office line because I do like some time away from work. But if you leave a voicemail, it does go to my email. Now that we're fully staffed, I'm actually able to return a lot of these calls. There was a time where it was just 3 of us, and we still maintained 24/7 coverage of the city. It was some unique juggling of the schedule, but we did it. And I think it's made those officers who have made it now definitely humble. I know I am. Very appreciative of the officers who decide to come work for JPD. And I think we're going to keep moving forward, especially with little seminars like this. After every seminar, I realize what I need to change on them, what I need to add on them. I do encourage feedback. I do enjoy that y'all are here. Hope y'all are able to get some information that was useful. And just thank y'all. That's going to be it. We'll leave that up there. I think there's snacks, Doug? Paul?